Well, welcome to another Angling Direct Quick Bite, and the sun is out and I've got my tench rods out for the first time this spring. And whilst I've got the rods out, I'm going to talk you through my top 3 tench rigs and what situation I'd use them in. And in my hand is probably my favourite rig when I'm fishing for tench, and that's one of the Inline Drennan bolt feeders. Now they're an inline maggot feeder, and sometimes when the weather gets a little bit warmer I will put some tape around some of the holes to slow the maggot release up. But we had a frost this morning, the water's still quite cold, so I've got no tape on the feeder. And I've got a 10-pound main line that goes straight through the middle of the feeder. Then I've got a swivel that plugs in the back there, but it does pull out easy enough if it needs to. Then on the back of the feeder I've got a very short, that's 4 inches long, of 10-pound fluorocarbon, down to either a size 10 or a size 12 guru hook. And then I put a plastic maggot on there like a liner, and then I simply hook maybe 3 or 4 maggots onto the hook. Now I like this rig, I think it offers really good hooking potential. That short aggressive hook link, the flat shape of that feeder, it sits on the gravel bars nicely and it nails them every time. But it does have its limitations. It's not the best casting rig in the world. If you've got a windy day, especially a crosswind, it can be a little bit like casting a small house brick. So that brings me on nicely to the next rig I use when I need to cast a little bit further out. So next up is the Heli Rig, and this rig, due to the fact the feeder is on the end of the rig, casts a lot better than that inline feeder. So if you're fishing slightly further out, this is a good rig to use. And another advantage of this rig, if you're fishing over light weed, because let's face it, tench quite like feeding in the weed, because your hook link is up above the feeder, it settles down on the weed nicely and gives you a better presentation. And my hook link on here is another 10-pound fluorocarbon hook link, a little bit longer this time. And I've got a size 10 hook with a quick stop, where I've quick stopped some sections of a dendrobina. So the worm kebab, that's known as. And then the Heli Rig is nice and simple. You've got 2 stops that slide on the line with a couple of hard plastic beads, and then a quick change bead that your hook link fixes onto. Now they're nice and easy, you can buy them as a kit, so everything's in the kit and you can just slide them straight on your main line. And then coming down to here, I've got a 2-ounce maggot feeder. You can use a ground bait feeder. Using a ground bait feeder with some chopped worm in your ground bait can be really good, but I do like red maggots when I'm tench fishing, and you can put a bit of chopped worm in with the maggots as well. Then I do have that on a clip, so I can change the feeder nice and quickly depending on how big I want the feeder to be and how heavy I want the feeder to be. So that's my go-to rig if I'm fishing a little bit further out on those windy days. So the last rig that I want to mention is the method feeder. I've got a little flat method feeder here that comes with a mould, so they're nice and neat and tidy and they cast quite well. And the situation when I turn to method feeders is when there's lots of silverfish present. So a few of the pits that I fish have lots of roach and rudd, and although I like using maggots and worms, they absolutely obliterate those hook baits. So when I use little mini boilies, sometimes I use fake casters, this is my go-to rig. A nice soft supple 10-pound braid, again about a 4-inch hook link, and that needs to be braid. If you tied that from fluorocarbon or mono, when you put it in the mould and bend your hook link up, you're going to damage the hook link. But with the soft braid you don't damage the hook link. Your little bright hook bait sits on top of a pile of a ground bait. It'll present over light weed, you can fish it on gravel, you can fish it just about anywhere, but it's the perfect presentation for using little boilies as hook baits. Well, hopefully that'll help you this spring. Put a few more tench on the bank. There's a rig there for every tench fishing situation. And don't forget all the components that I've used in these rigs. They're all available at Angling Direct, either on our website, on the My AD app, or even better, pop in your local Angling Direct and top up with some tench tackle.